Welcome to Joy of Business Radio, hosted by Joy of Business facilitators from around the world, with special shows from Simone Milicis, the founder and creator of Joy of Business. Are you bored or dissatisfied with your work or business? Joy of Business is an invitation to a completely new way of creating. Did you know your business and job can actually be fun and joyful? If what you are currently doing isn't working for you, listen into this show full of pragmatic tools from Access Consciousness, which change everything in business, from money to finance, staff, creativity, productivity, communication, and beyond. Joy of Business Radio, weekly on OMTimes Radio.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to OMTimes Radio and to the Joy of Business. This is Heather Nichols. I am a Joy of Business facilitator and really excited to be with you guys this week. I'm going to be talking about parenting and business and money and how all of that goes together in a way that you might not have imagined. I am a single mom, and when I got divorced, my kids were really little. They were 1 and 3, and I knew that there was something totally different that was possible. I knew that there was something completely, like, just so much greater than what I had in my life so far. And I really didn't actually know exactly what or how or what it was going to take to get there, but I knew that I had to choose it. I knew that I had to create a different life. And it included having my own business, which I had for years already, but really just not buying the story that, okay, now I'm going to be a single mom, I'm going to be exhausted, I'm going to be broke, I'm going to be struggling, I'm going to be all these things that single moms are, that define single moms in the world. I just knew, nope, that's not my reality. I can do something different. I would like to do something different. I would like to create something different. And I'm gonna. So I just kind of set out to start playing and took my life apart. And at times I definitely wondered, how am I going to do this with these little ones? When they're that little, it's pretty full on for moms. But I just kept following the energy and doing what, kind of like putting one foot in front of the other, really, and seeing what was next. And I came across Access Consciousness. I was working on the business that I already had at the time. I was a body-centered psychotherapist, and I owned a movement studio, and I taught movement. And so I was, working with those businesses, just looking for more. And I found Access Consciousness and fell in love. Started using the tools of Access Consciousness and Joy of Business right away, and applying them to my life and applying them to my business and applying them to life as a single mom and as a parent. And things started to really, really change. One of the things that I've realized recently, I'm also a conscious parents, conscious kids facilitator, which is another specialty body of work in Access Consciousness. And I realized recently when I decided to start facilitating those classes that was actually the beginning for me of being able to even create a really successful business. Is I actually had to handle what was going on in my home life and with my body, and as a mom, had to take care of some things because it wasn't that easy. I had 2 very high energy kids, and they were kind of bouncing off the walls all the time, even when they were really little. And I was exhausted, and I worked my butt off, and it was really this sense of like, well, every single day was, a lot of work, and getting to the end of the day and getting to my bed at night, I was sort of doing the single mom thing that I thought I wouldn't do, and it was a lot of work, and I had to handle that world, the world of parenting, and how I could actually create a reality with parenting that was going to be easier for me, in order to actually create something different with my business and my life in general. I had to handle this area that was super stressful, which is true a lot of times, whether you're a parent or not, or it's if you've got something going on in your life that's super stressful, that's, causing a lot of angst in your world, or just, where you're working really hard, or, you could have more ease. Sometimes we actually have to handle that before we can even begin to have a different space of creation. And that was what was really true for me. It was and I didn't even really realize it at the time, but I was sort of still just putting one foot in front of the other, handling what was in front of me at the time, and realizing that, wow, this parenting thing is kicking my ass. I need to do something about it. So I didn't really know this was going to happen, but I was having all this stuff going on with my body and my back. I had this really severe, very chronic back pain that was so weird for me, because I was always a dance teacher and a yoga teacher, and I danced my whole life, and I was an athlete, and I did diving, and I did gymnastics, and I did all this stuff, crazy stuff with my body. And here I was waking up in the morning, sometimes couldn't even put my shoes on. My back hurt so bad. And Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, was coming to town for an advanced body class. And my body went, "You are going to that class." And I went, okay, I've got some other classes I have to take first that are prerequisites, and that's a lot of money to be creating in a short period of time. But I did it, actually, and I used the tools of Access that I had learned in my foundation class, and just started going, well, if choice creates, let's see how this whole thing works. And I started choosing more. For me, I started choosing these classes that were the prerequisites and the advanced body class, and choosing to create more. And lo and behold, more showed up. More people showed up. More showed up. And more money showed up, and I could pay for the classes, and then I could pay for the next class. And then I started adding more to my business, and I could pay for the next class. So I got to the advanced body class, and I asked Gary a question about my back. Now, this was my first class with him, and I had no idea what he was going to say. And he asked me in front of 100 people if I hated being a mom. And I went, oh my God, I actually have to say yes, because I know this man is psychic and I'm not actually interested in lying. And I have to say that in front of a room full of 100 people. I can't even believe that I have to say this right now. I did. And we had this conversation about, well, what I required as a mom, what I required to actually, have more ease and actually enjoy it more. And he asked me to, he said, why don't you hire somebody? And I was like, well, I don't have money for that, but I guess I will. I know how choice works, And after that conversation and some of the body processes that we were running in that class, I literally woke up the next morning and my back pain was gone forever. Literally never came back. I woke up the next morning and I went for a run for the first time in years. It was amazing. And I started to create something really different. And I hired a full-time person. Well, he wasn't totally full-time, but I hired somebody. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay him, but let's do this. And I hired somebody to be there with my kids. I hired him to cook. I hired him to do laundry. I hired him to help with my business. He was an amazing guy, a really all-around kind of a guy who could do technology and, make lasagna and sweep the floor and play with my kids all at once. He was really awesome. And all of a sudden I started creating more. I started creating more in my business, and I needed to pay him, and the money was there. I needed to pay him again, and the money was there, and I started creating more classes. And there was this thing where I really had to choose me. I had to choose to honor me with this whole world, with this world of parenting, which is something that, we talk a lot in the Joy of Business about business being the adventure of living, the adventure of creating your life and living. And I started to create that. Like, I actually started to see that, wow, I got to handle this stuff, this mom stuff, so that I can have a business, so that I can create the change that I'd like to see in the world and contribute to the world. I've got to handle this mom stuff so that I can, make money and support myself and support my family, and the body stuff that went along with it, which was amazing. And I just did, and it really came out of the honoring me, what I desired, what I required, what I needed to actually have more space in my world for creation. Because when we are stressed out, when we are, feel like every single day is an uphill battle, every single day is work, effort, suffering, and struggle, it's so difficult to create. It's the creative juices are not there because we are in survival mode. We can't actually thrive. We are in survival mode. And so in order to get beyond that, I really had to choose something totally different. I had to choose also something that could be considered to be a judgeable choice as a mom, to go, I don't like cooking for my kids. I'm going to hire somebody to do that. I hate folding laundry. I'm going to hire somebody to do that. I don't want to pick them up from school. It's right in the middle of my workday. I'm going to hire somebody to do that. I don't like getting them ready for bed at night. I'm going to hire somebody to do that. And then I don't like doing back end stuff in my business. I'm going to hire somebody to do that. And so it began this creation of my business from this space of honoring me that continues today and continues to morph and change and expand and become something different every day, where I was really willing to go, you know what, this actually has got to change. Like, my joy is actually relevant here. It is important. It is valuable to me, to my kids, and to the world. And I need to actually be making choices that are an honoring of that and a reflection of that, and that actually are an expression to me that my joy is valuable. Nobody else is going to really get that, or they might or they may not. It's not relevant. Are you honoring you in the creation of your life? Are you honoring you in the creation of your family? Are you honoring you in the creation of your business? Because if you're not, it's going to be hard and not all that much fun. And I have come to find out that when it's hard and it's not all that much fun, guess what happens? Our businesses don't thrive. They don't grow. They don't expand. We don't have wealth in the way that we could. I think I'm actually going to a break. I wasn't sure on the timing of that. I'm glad it's gentle. We'll be right back.
No one needs to have a money problem, especially you.
Yeah, did you hear that? You have an unlimited and mostly unaccessed capacity to create money and a financial reality that works for you. Simone Milasas has a brand new book. It's called Getting Out of Debt Joyfully. And right now, when you go to gettingoutofdebtjoyfully.com, if you pre-order the book, you'll get a free online course. What if you can create money in ways no one else can? Just go to gettingoutofdebtjoyfully.com to get your copy today.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Aloha, my name is Jennifer O'Neill, and I'd like to invite you to come join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time for my show, Spirit Chat. Spirit Chat focuses on simplifying the process of using the spiritual tools and gifts you were born with in a way that fits into your everyday life. I also teach different techniques that will help you learn how to navigate the spirit realm and empower you on your own spiritual journey. So join me this Wednesday as I guide you through the spirit world.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Heather Nichols, and you're listening to OMTimes Radio, the Joy of Business radio show with some really epic and amazing facilitators contributing here every week. And I'm talking today about family and parenting and business and money and wealth and honoring you in the creation of all of that. Before the break, I was telling the story of how I started to create something really different with my family that allowed me to actually start to create something different with my business. And that actually, that was the beginning, and that's something that hasn't really, it hasn't changed. It's only expanded and grown and become greater for me over the years. I've been playing with the Joy of Business and Access Consciousness for, probably 8 or 9 years now. And so, my kids are quite a bit older now. They're 10 and how old are they? They're 11 and 13. And they've really grown up with this stuff. It's been really cool. And that's actually something that's been amazing is they have seen me create and not create from a really different space and using these tools where I'm asking questions all the time. I'm willing to be judged as a mom. I'm willing to be judged as an entrepreneur. I'm willing, because some of the choices that I made were, and have been making the whole time. I travel a lot now. I don't see my kids all the time. They're with their dad about half of the time. And so I don't see them all the time. And yet I'm so present with them, and I know that they're doing great. They're in my world. I'm in their world all the time. In terms of I don't pull my energy out of their worlds ever. But there's been so many choices that I've made along the way with both parenting and my business and money that really are considered judgeable offenses in this reality. And this is where this honoring of you and this really having intimacy with you, having allowance for what it is that you require and desire, having gratitude for you and what you're creating in the world and what you be, having trust and vulnerability with you, and having that space of honoring you. That's where those are the 5 elements of intimacy and access consciousness, and they come in so incredibly handy, which is even kind of a funny way to say it, because I really wouldn't actually want to live without them. And I did, before the story started, I didn't really have those elements of intimacy with me, which is partly why I was struggling so much and having such a hard time, is because I was really trying to fit myself into this box of what was correct in the world, what was correct as a mom and as a person and as an entrepreneur, really how to do this right, good, perfect, and correct life thing, not the adventure of creating my life and living that business is, but rather getting it right. And had to let go of getting it right. From that moment that I had the conversation with Gary Douglas about my back and parenting and all of those choices that I made, that was the beginning of me going, all right. It was sort of like crying uncle. You know, I don't know if that's an expression elsewhere in the world, but in the U.S. we say that, uncle, when we're like, I give up, I surrender, you know, crying uncle to this reality and to the pressures and the demands and everything that we think we need to do. It was so funny. I was on a plane last night and coming home from Costa Rica from the recent Access Consciousness 7-day event, which was amazing. And there were these two men sitting next to me, and businessmen. They were talking about their businesses and just, you know, chatting with each other. And one of them said, "Oh yeah, I just got married, and yeah, we're not going to have kids yet. We'll probably start in a year or two, but you know, I'm sure we'll start saving for their college fund next month. And we just got married 2 weeks ago." And the guy was saying, "Well, how's married life treating you?" And he's like, "Oh, it's good," you know. But it was just it was such this conversation of like, yeah, we're doing the right things. We have jobs. We work for companies. We're starting the college fund for our children who haven't been born yet. We're going to have the kids because that's the next thing that you do after you get married. And I could tell in his world there was no joy, no excitement, no, I don't even know how excited he was about being married, to be honest with you, which is another story for another time. But it's part of this because we think we have to do all these things. We think we have to get married and get the job and have the kids and do the thing and blah, blah, blah. You know, you're nowhere in that equation. And so here it was right in front of me, these two men just being nowhere in the equation of their lives. And, you know, I went, wow, you know, I'd like to get my hands on these too. I didn't actually butt into their conversation, but hey, maybe at another time I would. But I just went, wow, you know, that's really where I was functioning from, was this sense of I got to do it all right in order to get it all right. But the thing is, you can't get it right. You cannot get parenting right. Please let yourself off the hook on that one because you will never get it right. Right is a lie. It's a definition. It's a limitation of you. It omits and doesn't honor what it is that you know as a parent, what it is that you be. It doesn't honor your kids. It doesn't honor what they know and what they be and the unique relationship that you have with them. And it doesn't allow you to actually do what's true for you. And for me, it was going, there's like the work of parenting, like the getting it right work of parenting that I am not into at all. I'm not interested in proving that I'm a good mom by making dinner for my family every night. I actually kind of hate cooking. I actually hate cleaning up, to be honest with you. I actually kind of love cooking when I feel like it, but cleaning up, forget it. And if I cook, like, you know, I mean, my kids are getting better now, but I'm probably going to be cleaning it up. So I'm a little bit OCD. So anyway, it was like this, you know, you grow up with these ideas of like, this is how you take care of your family. This is how you show them that you love them. This is how you nurture them. You know, and it's like, oh, well, then I actually suck at being a mom right out of the gate because I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like cleaning. I don't like folding laundry. I don't like, you know, all the stuff that is the stuff that you're supposed to do to be good. I didn't want to do any of it. And I chose to, instead of forcing myself, and thank goodness I had this chronic back pain that was my body really letting me know, instead of forcing myself to do that for 20 years, which I would have probably just died. I mean, that sounds traumatic, but really, like, I would have been like, I don't want to be here. Because that's not, there's nothing about that world of the right, good, perfect, and correctness of it all that's fun for me. It totally takes the joy out of business, the joy out of the business of our lives and the business of parenting. And so I had to step into this space of, all right, I'm willing to be judged here. You know, I'm willing to be the bad mom. I'm willing to be the mom that everybody thinks is horrible, that nobody gets, that everybody, has a point of view about how I function and what I do with my kids. And I'm willing to actually be that in order to have me. I'm also willing to be the bad business person. I'm willing to be bad with money, with how I make choices with my money. I'm willing to be judged for all of this in order to have a life that actually works for me, in order to create a life that is about thrival and joy and ease and abundance and wealth and change and consciousness and contribution and joy and joy and joy and joy and joy. And, I'm a lot closer to that than I was however many years ago. I mean, there's always more. There's always more. But I have a pretty phenomenal life now. And I will say that one of the things, like the main turning points, was that moment where I went, all right, this is what's true for me, and I don't care who thinks what about it. So what are you avoiding in your life as a parent, as an entrepreneur, with your money, with how you set up your life, how you run your life, how you run your household? What are you avoiding? What choices are you avoiding that would be so awesome for you, that would be so amazing for you, that would be so wonderful for you, but you're not willing to make them because they're wrong according to the rest of the world? Would you be willing to let that go and to start to actually choose what is going to work for you, what is actually going to work for you? It might not look anything like anything you've seen before, and that's a real, that area is such an interesting world, because there's just so many things that we know that nobody invites us to, because it's not aligned with how you should be. And when we're willing to choose that, when we're willing to actually choose those choices that feel like you're jumping off a cliff into the great unknown of, oh my God, what on earth am I doing? What on earth is going to happen to me right now? Those really are the moments where we begin to fly, where we begin to thrive, where we begin to really expand and explode, and everything becomes greater in our life. So we're at our next break now, because this very quiet music is happening in the background. So I will be back momentarily.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Tune in to the Practical Intuitive, Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World with me, host Robin Fritz, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. I'll cover personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice, and more, all to help you tap your own intuitive and healing skills. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Putting the fun back in business. Wake up, go to work, come home, watch TV, go to bed, repeat. Business, work, your job, hate it, bored, want to leave it? Or business, work, your job, fun, play, joy, fun. Which would you like to choose? You may not know this, but business, your job, work can actually be fun. Shake up your business routine. Check out my 3-part free video series on putting the fun back in business. Go to accessjoybusiness.com/fun and put the fun back in business.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Heather Nichols, and you're listening to OMTimes Radio and the Joy of Business show. Talking this week about parenting and family and business and money and creation and doing it wrong, getting it wrong, honoring you, having fun, and doing what you need to do to have the life that you would like to have. Not a popular point of view, but definitely one that works. I've seen it time and time again. I want to talk, too, about including our kids in our business, because that's something that's been really fun for me and has been just a really a gift, really, and like my business actually has been a gift in the life of my family, and my family has been a gift to my business, and in such cool ways. And I travel a lot for, to take classes and to facilitate classes and to be part of grading classes. And I've been taking my kids with me since day one, really. It was my first trip to a class. The first time I traveled to a class, my son went with me. He was 7 at the time. He's 13 now. And it was such a gift to him. It was such a contribution to him to get to be in this space where children are really honored and acknowledged for the beings that they be, and not seen as little dumb things, which most people see kids as in this reality. But really honored, for their brilliance and what they know and what they can contribute. And it was so cool because that first class even changed Avery's life. He came back a different child, and his teacher even commented on it. Like she didn't know what we had done or where we had gone or what happened, but the next time we met with her, it was like, oh wow, he's different, And so I've always allowed these tools to be part of my family, the tools that I facilitate, the Access Consciousness tools, the Joy of Business tools, to be part of my family and to really be a gift, and for my kids to be part of my business and to include them in what I am, in what I'm creating, and to see them as a contribution to that. It's been amazing. They are little entrepreneurs themselves, and they have really learned to use the tools of Joy of Business and Access Consciousness to create what they would like to create businesses of their own and money flows of their own. And I love the fact that my kids oftentimes will go to Access Consciousness classes and they'll run bars, and they'll charge money for it. Bars is a, if you don't know what that is, it's a hands-on energetic process that we run on the body, on the head, that really just, if you don't know what it is, get your bars run. Look on the accessconsciousness.com website and find the bars practitioner or facilitator in your area. It's amazing. It was actually the very beginning for me of finding access and realizing that there was a completely different possibility in my world. So they will run bars. They run my bars. They run other people's bars, and they charge money for it. And they've created some really amazing stuff over the years, and just are a contribution contribution to my business. I just include them energetically in my business. I ask them to contribute to my business energetically. I also ask them verbally, and sometimes that comes in, ideas that they have or suggestions or being present for something where they're contributing, or and sometimes it's just really their presence in my world that makes my business greater and makes our lives greater for all of us. And I will say too, business being the creation of your life and living, they really get to participate in the creation of our family. And that's been one of my favorite things about Access and Joy of Business is my kids and I create our family together. We decide things together, we choose things together, we come up with, how things are going to work together, and we negotiate, and it's a co-creation. This household that we share and this little family that we've created of the three of us is a co-creation. And that's, I would say, actually one of the ways that I have actually taken a lot. I've diminished the stress that I had as a mom, because I really, really had the point of view that I had to do it all by myself. Parenting, business, I really had this point of view that it was up to me. Luckily, I was a good hard worker because I could do it, but it was really just up to me. And I was refusing the gift and the contribution of everything, of the universe, of my children, of my family, of my business, of everything that I was creating. And it really isolating myself in this world that wasn't fun for me. And I just started asking everything to contribute. I started asking my kids to be a gift energetically. I started including them in things that I was looking at with parenting and decisions that I was making, the kind of stuff that you really are not supposed to involve your kids in this reality. I started involving them, and I started including them and going, hey guys, let's look at this together. Let's look at that together. What's actually going to work here? What's going to work for you? What's going to work for me? Hey, I'm looking at taking a trip. I might be gone for a few weeks. Does that work for you? And they'll tell me, yeah, mom, no, mom. They'll tell me. And I trust their awareness. I don't see them as these little things that don't have, intelligence or awareness, or that as if that's something that you have to mature to have. I see them as infinite beings that know more about themselves than I do. And that's how I interact with them. And the cool thing is that you can, the creation of your family is so much a part of their creation of the business of your life, but you could apply this conversation to your business as well. Your business also has, it is an entity and an energy of its own. It has a consciousness, and you can include your business in the creation of your business. That sounds kind of funny, but truly, what if it wasn't you doing it by yourself? What if part of that honoring of you was actually going, yeah, there's a lot here that's available to contribute to me that left to the devices of my mind, I would overlook. I do overlook. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm actually going to go, hey, wow, what really is available to be received here? What really is available to be received here? From your family, from your children, from your business, from your bank account, from the earth, from the universe. And, one of the ways that we do that is simply by asking. Ask and receive can be a reality for you. It is a world of creation in and of itself when we're willing to function from that. Ask and receive. Asking the universe, asking your business, going, hey business, what can I contribute to you today? What possibilities are available today? What if I was to destroy and uncreate my business? One of my favorite Joy Business tools, destroy and uncreate your business every day. If I was to destroy and uncreate my business today, well, don't even ask if I was to, just do it. I highly recommend it. Okay, destroy and create everything that your business was yesterday, all the projections and expectations you have of your business. Will you please destroy and create all of that? Everything you've decided that it is, all the reference points, all the objectives, all the goals and the targets. Will you destroy and create all of that? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, top, five, shirts, boys and beyonds. If you don't know what I just said, that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement, which you can learn more about at theclearingstatement.com if you want to, and you don't have to know anything about it for it to work. Cool thing. But it's really when we do that, like we have this brand new business every day. We're brand new. You can do that with your kids, destroying and creating your relationship with your kids and your family and you and your whole life. Because it gets rid of the stuff that we've created that's a limitation, and it allows us to actually be present with what is today. What is today with your children? What is today with your body? What is today with your business? And creating from presence is an honoring of you. You know why? Because it makes it a hell of a lot easier. And it's also just an honoring of what is. It's an honoring of your awareness, an honoring of what is. And right here, right now, there's energies and possibilities that are available for you to actually create with. And when we're in our minds and we're in our heads and we're like, I got to make the money to pay the bills, to pay for the kids, to do the this, to do the that, blah, 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 we are not present. We are not in awareness. We are not using our awareness and receiving the gift and the contribution that is available to us from everything. So how present are you willing to actually be with your business, with your family, with your children? How much are you willing to include the gift of your kids, each one of them, individually, and your family, as its own creation? How much are you willing to include the gift of your business and the gift of everything that is your life? Because chances are you got some cool stuff going on, even if you judge it, even if you think your life sucks, even if you think your business sucks or your, whatever, if you think it's horrible, I would wager to guess that there's some pretty darn cool things about you and your life that when you start to acknowledge that and have gratitude for it and use it to create and include it in the creation of everything, everything gets greater. Everything becomes greater. And it is in those moments where we know we are not alone. We are not alone. We are not doing this on our own. We are not doing this by ourselves. We are not alone. That is a really different space of creating. On that note, we will be back in a moment.
What do you hate about business? And do you want to change it? If you don't want to change anything about your job or business, stop listening. You're all good. If you'd like to have money just for the fun of it and stop the negative self-talk, check out Joy of Business. This is about knowing what you know about business and creating more than you can imagine. Access Joy of Business 101 classes offered around the world. Go to accessjoyofbusiness.com/101.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors. connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living, a chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me, and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Heather Nichols, and you're listening to OMTimes Radio, the Joy of Business radio show. And we're talking about family and business and receiving and creation and honoring you and including your family in the creation of your business. I happen to have a special guest here for the last short segment of the show, and that is my 13-year-old son, Avery.
Hello.
So, Avery, you have been around access consciousness kind of for as long as you can remember?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think about the tools of access?
I don't know. They're pretty cool.
And we're talking about business and family here today. So what's it like having a family where kind of everything flows together, like my business and what we do and access, and what's that like? You probably really don't know anything different, right?
It's like easy and fun, I guess. I don't really know.
Cool. You just bought a computer.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I saved up for 5 months and I bought a computer.
What kind of a computer did you buy?
It was a MacBook Pro.
Nice. My son actually now has a better computer than I do. Just saying. How did you do it?
I don't know. I just saved up. It was not hard.
It was not hard. There's gems here. Well, yeah, and it's not that hard for you to create money, is it?
No.
So, what do you know about creating money and business that you could tell people? I'm putting him on the spot. Well, it's not that hard is a great thing to tell people, because most people think business is really hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you just when did you decide that you wanted a computer?
After the Houston class.
Okay. What made you decide you wanted to buy a computer?
Because I made $1,000 in that class.
How did you make $1,000?
Running bars and faceless and SOPs.
Yeah, so he's doing sessions. And then what? You just went for it?
I guess, yeah.
Cool. Do you think you'll keep doing stuff like that?
Yes.
You're brilliant with money. He's shaking his head, yes. So, if somebody was asking you for your advice and they were like, I want to buy a new computer, what would you say?
To not spend your money on other things.
Say that again. I think we might have gotten interrupted.
To not spend your money on other things.
Not spend your money on other things.
Yeah.
Save it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Anything else? Did you ask any questions or?
I don't know. Maybe I feel like I did, but I don't know.
Yeah, you sort of just be a question, really. Like, what would it take to create a computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd be way more a question than that, but yeah, you don't really have a lot of judgments in your world, which is a huge part of what actually allows us to create more business and money, is to not of judgment, to not think that anything is going to be hard, to not think that it's impossible before you even start, which you don't, like, do you think that there's anything that's impossible?
No.
He's like, why would I think that? Cool. Anything else you want to say? I'll let you off the hook.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you. That's my cool kid. Yeah. So I love that because he actually is closing the door. He really is so much space, and he doesn't judge, and he doesn't. And what's so funny is when kids grow up around this stuff, they don't even realize that judgment is a thing. You know, they don't realize that people stop themselves with judgment. And you know, we were talking about before with the creation of your, you know, what's true for you, what you would like to create as a parent. And as an entrepreneur and as your life, it's like if you, you know, if you have a judgment of that you can't or that it's going to be hard or anything like that, you limit yourself. The clearing statement is a great thing for that. Just going everything that judgment is, I'm going to destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all night, puck, punch, shorts, good, beyond. Getting your bars on is a great tool for that. And doing this thing where I was just saying, you know, really allowing everything to contribute to you, because everything will contribute to you if you are willing to have that point of view, if you're willing to receive and you're willing to go, yeah, what I'm asking for is a gift to the world. It's a gift to me. It's a gift to my family, and I'm willing to receive. There have been so many moments where I didn't believe that what I was asking for was a gift to my family or a gift to the world, where I was like, oh God, I'm being selfish. And I'm so glad that I never believed myself fully, because that's where we stop ourselves from actually creating joy, the joy of business and the joy of living and the joy of doing things very, very different than the rest of the world, which is where the joy usually exists, is in what's true for us, what we would like to have as our lives, as our businesses, rolling it all into one beautiful space of creation, including everything in the creation of everything, not excluding anybody or anything, and going for it. So what have you decided you can't have as your life, that if you allowed yourself to have it, and you allowed yourself to go for it, and you never believed that you couldn't again, would create something totally different for you, And everything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, puck, pod, shorts, boys, and beyond. So, hey, maybe it's time to jump off a cliff or two and make some choices that you might think are bad choices, judgeable choices, but things that might make you really happy. And I love these tools of the Joy of Business and these classes. They are amazing. And I highly recommend you, if you are asking to create a lot more in your life, something really different possibilities of more joy, more ease. First of all, I just want you to know it is so possible. I really, I want everybody to know that. And I was this miserable single mom who had no idea how I was going to do what I wanted to do. And it's not like I've done it. I have done it. I am doing it, and I'm doing more. I'm creating more with a lot of fun and ease. And I just want everybody to know that is whatever you are asking for, it is possible. And at the Joy of Business and in Access Consciousness, we have tools upon tools upon tools that will help you to get there. So if this conversation has been inspiring to you or exciting to you or enlivening in any way, please keep going. Listen to more of these radio shows. There's so much free stuff. There's YouTube. There's all kinds of different places you can tap in. There's the Joy of Business Facebook page. And there are so many amazing Joy of Business facilitators. Some of the most incredible people in the world that I have ever met are Joy of Business facilitators and Access Consciousness facilitators. Find a class and get yourself there. And there's stuff that happens online and stuff that happens in person. And find a class. Get your hands on some tools that will allow you to truly create the life and the living and the family and the reality that you would love to have that you may not have chosen before now. What if you could just go for it? What if you could ask your kids to contribute? Ask your business to contribute. Ask the universe to contribute. Ask all of the generative energies of creation to play with you. And commit to never, ever thinking that anything is impossible and that everything is possible. You just have to choose it and go for it. So what would it be like if that could be your world? I would really love to see a world where there is a lot more of that, where there are a lot more happy people having the lives that they love, having the worlds that they love, having universes and businesses and realities that are true for them, where we get out of judgment of the right and the wrong, what has to be, what can't be, what should be, and into this totally different space where we honor ourselves. We have that intimacy with ourselves, that gratitude and allowance and vulnerability and trust. We actually really go for it with the creation of our lives. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a beautiful week, and we'll be back next week with more.